If you'd all please join me, we'll stand for a moment of silence, and we'll follow that with the pledge. Thank you. Thank you. To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Would you please do roll call?
Mayor Dyak.
Here.
Vice Mayor Kojin. Councilor Augie.
Here.
And Councilor Carey.
Here.
We need to City Council's strategic priorities. Anyone have anything that we wish to talk about in the priorities?
Our strategic priority that's posted is from fiscal year 18. Some are still pending and some I'm not sure why they're on there. I'm looking, hopefully we can convene some type of workshop to do that in the next month or so.
All right. As soon as we can after the first of the year. Anyone? I know that I sent out a request, and I think I've gotten an opportunity to just kind of go through the list and kind of look at it, ask them to kind of go over it with the rest of council so we can kind of look at it. As Brian brought up, hopefully we'll talk more about those with help one another accomplish our strategies. Thank you. Anyone have any minutes?
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion. Motions carry unanimously. Consent agenda. By one undebatable motion passed unanimously, any item may be removed for debate on regular agenda.
Move to approve the consent portion of the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion.
Aye.
Okay. Council concurs. The members of the public may address the council on matters that are not listed upon the City Council agenda. The City Council cannot discuss or take legal action on any matters during of the call of the public. Individuals of the council may request to respond to criticism made by those who have anyone in the audience that wishes to address
John
the council.
Riley.
Mayor's reports and announcements. I have one that I'd like to go over, and council itself is aware of the fact. On November 19th, I reinstated the COVID-19 mask mandate. I feel that that was necessary under asking for the support of the citizens of Page in that, along so that they can remain open and we're better together. Also, he is asking all Arizonas to please follow the COVID-19 guidelines. No, they will be closed. So for everyone here that's hearing this evening and that we're doing those businesses to really step up to the plate in that, because their business remaining open is going to COVID-19 report. I'm going to try to every meeting along with in between have some so that we can keep abreast of what's going on locally as well as what's going on statewide and nationwide. There is a vaccine on the horizon. They're saying today that filter down, I imagine by the time it gets down to our level or so will be after the first of the year. And what they've been doing, and I hope that we can continue to keep moving forward. Thank you.
Mayor, I commend you, sir, for taking the...
It's up to people to do, I would say, the right thing. It doesn't matter whether you think masks help, and if everybody wears a mask when they're whether they're going in a store or gone. And let's try to just really nip this sucker in the bud.
Yes, sir?
Just a question and perhaps an idea, and I know it's not for action item, but in terms of a thing specifically for when the vaccines do start being distributed, I wonder if there's any value for, as best as we can. I have no idea what logistics might be involved, but certainly others do. And in terms of the vaccine and also as coordinated as we can be.
You know, that,
Mr. Mayor, if I could,
Actually, Councilor Carey store the vaccine. So when the first responders and such have to, or we can, the distribution and the decision making on that. So we'll get our direction from them.
The third one in, it might be different. And that's great. I'm glad that the county is doing that. I would suspect they would be. It would be good then.
Thank you. Any other comment? All right.
I think you covered it basically. I'll get into the first quarter financials if you'd like. There's when you look at this was one document has some repetition in it. You're basically looking kind of at the same thing a few different times in a few different ways. There's some pros in it this time and there's some negatives in it. If you take a look on page 2, and I'm worried about anything, I look at the general fund. When you throw in the grants, when you throw in the enterprise funds, you're kind of blurring what quarter to last quarter last year. Our expenses are down $305,000 compared to the year before. So what that, in turn, if you take that expense number, the 2448464, and then revenues received, so the boys and girls are doing their job right. In past years, if we would have had continued revenues coming in, and just see how the year ends up. If we jump then to, you can look at page 3. If you go to page 5, I think this is a little more important. This breaks down our general fund into departments. And so all the red you see means that's how much below actually me. So the $51,835, that basically comes from the directive of the council for the new signs that we bought for COVID, which were 4%. That was mandated insurance. It had to be paid. And then the next big one is, of course, is parks and trails. And overall, I think that although we're only 25% into this year's budget, is we have to continue. I mean, staff may not be happy just because a lot of items that we budgeted may not even be approved. Wilson good. I might start giving some directives to where these guys can start purchasing, because I am not convinced that next year is going to be a ton better. I think we're looking into probably 2022 this year. And for the new elected officials, basically what we did is we rolled this year's budget, general budget back. Was when we forecasted, we took a look at what the revenues were without all the international travel, basically. As you go through the next pages, it's going to just kind of tell you the exact same thing, except in a little more concise manner. Page 8 breaks it down, what percent they have spent of their budget and what percent they have spent of their budget this quarter. And then in a nutshell, like I say, there's good, there's bads, but
I just got one comment. I don't know if the council realizes that, or especially the new people, that those numbers, where it comes in, and it comes to March and April, that we need to gear up.
yeah.
That $1 million is not even going to cover the deficit we're going to see in the next.
What December, January, until we get through that first quarter of next year, and we see how we do.
Yeah.
And,
It just died 2 weeks ago. We're not doing nothing.
yeah.
I mean, you just go out in the streets like at 8 o'clock this morning. I mean, it was like a dead 48.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, we only had the golf course for 1 month last year.
Right.
And because the city took it over September the 6th, October. And so when we see the stuff from October and November, you're going to see some really good months because has very revenue. I hate to say it, is that open and closing?
Yeah, yeah, I wasn't going to bring that up, but
It's long-term care, I think.
yeah.
You got people calling about Christmas. Is the Horseshoe Bend going to be open? Are we going to pull our people pretty soon? Or?
If Horseshoe Bend can continue to fund those employees, I'd rather have that We're down to 6 employees right now, and we're open 7 days a week from sunlight. So if you even keep 1 or 2 people at the same time with the money and that kind of stuff, you got to have at least
3?
Yeah, we
Okay, that's what they're asking, is if they're gonna be locked out because they want to go on Christmas Day.
no, yeah. We have found that shutting the gates aren't the best correctly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Report.
That is not showing up yet, actually. That actually was money that was received last year, Counselor. It's received, but it's not budgeted, so it doesn't show yet. So we'll be able to use that next year. We're talking to our auditors on that because that's a pretty good chunk of change that we might be able to use. So we have been reimbursed.
Yeah, so in that other revenue, that doesn't involve the
Linda, are you on?
muted.
Can you,
Is
the CARES Act money, what I'm looking at page 5 and I'm having difficulty.
Revenue.
Revenue?
No.
Other.
I don't.
This quarter, other revenue. I'm thinking that, oh yeah, where it says down at the bottom, see the revenue at the very bottom, it comments FY 2020. And we did try to push it into this year because the expenses were going to have this. I think that they're okay with that because when we applied for the grant last year, but it only went like from March to June.
Right.
And we knew that we would have that. With that, I did not hear any pushback from the auditors on that.
Okay.
So I think we're good.
Okay.
So-
Good.
The auditors?
Well, I think we're going to have to shore that up. I think we kind of projected and when I discussed that with Christy, we decided we'd much rather do actuals because, we're just those kind of people, numbers, right? And so we use the actual. When we have to reconcile with them, we will pull numbers from this year so that it can go against this year's budget. Reconcile it with them after the first of the year.
Okay. Council, any other questions?
Good question.
On. Do we have any board meetings that anyone met with this time? PUE? Anything? None. New business. Discussion and possible action by City Council pertaining to One Arizona opioid.
Kind of lays this out in a nutshell. The opioid litigation and the manufacturers want to include as many government entities as possible to foreclose the ability for some opposing MOU and distribution. They're trying to get all of the government entities, the counties, the state, and all of the cities to sign off on the distribution formula. What it boils down to is unless we just sign off on this thing and get what we get. We're not going to change the formula. It's been agreed to by the counties and everybody else, and we're in our own lawsuit and try to get some money out of them. But my recommendation is to just sign it.
Yeah, move to approve the One Arizona opioid.
Motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion?
I just had a couple questions. So it looked like it appears our percentage as Page would be about 0.0003. Just perhaps mention that if our substance abuse task force continues to make plans, even if they're meager.
All right. Any other comment? Okay. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously of all members. Discussion possible action by City Council pertaining to contract with Express. Aaron,
So what this is basically, Linda Watts and I have been working on this, it seems like forever, to try and find a system, Cassell, for all of our accounting software. And basically, there's about 2 that would integrate with that system. That Cassell recommended them very highly, that working with them, they've had a really good working relationship. Another was PUE. So it is my hope that you will consider approving the contract.
Express bill pay for the City of Page payment processing.
Second.
We have a
Second.
motion and second, multiple.
QE that
Exactly.
I have
You could
automatic
pay-
debit. And
You can pay anything from the corrals to your EMS bill. Just, it's just really antiquated. The convenience of being able to do it at home, we're hoping that it'll take already from the PUE.
Yes.
So it'll just, another account will be added to that page, and you'll click on that one, and you'll go. That was happening.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'll just note that if we pass this, we have just crossed off objective 3.2 from
All right. Being no further questions, motion carries unanimously of all members. Moving right along. Item for City of Page.
So, Mr. Mayor, what this is, try to find a service to provide financial help to our employees. So we have a wide range of employees so we did some searching around looking for different products that were out there. The problem is a lot. I belong to, this was covered 1 month in the magazine. The best thing about dollars per person, whoever signs up, it's $18 a year. They'll start working with you everything from for somebody, like I mentioned, who's 5 years away from retiring, on that. If you want to do anything from investment funds to health saving, we do something on this. Yeah, we can, and here's how we do it. So one nice thing too, all of you can do it. The city council is included in this. So if you wanted to, I think that it's a real good thing. Oftentimes people, especially in public, and as they get closer and closer to it, they realize, well, that may not always be the truth. The employees are 100% behind it. You can ask Sue. We had Sue take.
Did the employees pay the $18 and not the city, or?
I was hoping that the city would cover it.
What?
Yeah, I know. It'll be interesting to see how many we get. If we get 10, then the employees pay it. I just don't think we'll get that good a turnout.
$18 a year services.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any
night session for $500 per session, is that a training thing?
That's a training. We would have to request that.
Okay, so
So
is that I'm sorry, but is that for the city staff or?
At it, we discussed it. If we have enough interest, maybe once a quarter, we would do something for the employees. So if we how in depth, 500 is their minimum, 1,000 is their max. Is just the discussion on how to get rid of debt and how to start saving and how to do that. That was really exactly.
There are some programs in there that might prepare you for that too. We have the same thing through Classic. It's through a group called Support Link, but it's been very.
employees in this way.
We lost you.
We lost you there for a minute. Go ahead again.
No, you're fine. You can stop.
I worked for the National Park Service, and this type of thing was just not thought of, and other types of things. So kudos for doing that. It's long-term, and it just organization to work for.
All right. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
By the way, Brian, I apologize. I hit.
Let's vote.
Yeah, we have a motion, and I'll post.
Thank
None?
you. Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. Discussion, possible action by City Council pertaining.
Councilor Yank came to me about 4 months ago or so, and was worried mass and sworn officers, but also just the overall. So we started discussing what we can do as a city to help our employees. During budget this year, 2019, July of 2019, they received a 3.5% increase. So we looked at doing different things, and basically what we came up with was After about 35%, you're probably looking at about 665, 660 or so is what the employee will get, depending
I
on,
appreciate that a lot more when it comes
Yeah.
written and non-attached.
and actually it'll say on there a $2,000 for sworn officers and for EMS. They literally were reusing masks, washing masks. So, we asked lots of them that we normally wouldn't. And then just the guys on the front line who answered the phone over and over and over, wanting to know what the city was going to do. So every time the council made a decision, be it a mask mandate or, an onslaught comes. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think the timing is perfect, so I move to approve the Employee Appreciation Award.
Second.
We have a motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
I will
Counselor
make sure
Yank.
that
Thank council.
the
Bid awards, we've got none scheduled for this evening. Departments being said, I would adjourn this meeting.
Good job.
See you guys next time.